there's always backup. So under the Dropbox folder, there's session 2 stairs and railings. So we can go ahead and open, let's open the stair examples file. Let's go ahead and open that.
Close it down there.
No, leave it open because we're gonna bring one into the other one, right? You know, in all cases, right, especially with stairs, these stair files, if you need a stair, right, sift through this file first, pick the stair you want, bring it in and edit it versus trying to make a brand new stair. Stairs are notorious for being very troublesome in Revit. Okay.
You chose the stair samples?
Yep, stair samples.
So this is a file that we're gonna have. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, we have it. FGA has.
I'm not sure, but you have it now. I bring your jump drive, stick it in, copy the Dropbox folder if you'd like. So, you should have it though. You should have it. If I go to the top view, right, different types of stairs, pretty much every kind of stair you can think of. I'm sure there's other ones you can think of that aren't on here. But basically covering, you know, most of what you're gonna encounter along the way, right? I have metal pan stair, brick concrete stair, residential stairs, all kinds of residential stairs in here. So typically what we're gonna do is use this, the metal pan stair, for your core, or the concrete stair, right? And then we're gonna put the railings in separate, because what happens with the railings, right? So let's go ahead and open our family, or open the project with session 2 stair with landing at top. So it typically happens with when we do make a stair from scratch. Give it a second to open up.
So it was made in a folder.
Yeah, this is what happens with the upgrade process we talked about yesterday. Right. What happens with Revit is when you do this switchback, it's going to automatically put a railing on, and it's going to carry that railing all the way around the boundary of those stairs. Now, if it's sitting in a core, do we need the railing running the core?
No, we're still in.
Nope, just along the rises there. So it's the only place we need it. And also here, right? So that's always the case where kind of knowing when to do it and when not to do it. So I always start with the stairs first, and then we go in and pump the railings onto the stairs, because the railings, you may not even need to see the railings ever in 3D, right? It may be only a 2D function. And starting out in schematic, rarely do you need to see the railings on the stairs. You just need to know that the stair's there, and it seems to work at this point. And then later you'll start fussing with it and editing it and all those other things. But it's important to note that both of these work dependent on each other. The railing, well, more so the railing is dependent on the stair. It comes with the stair initially. Generally, you can delete it off or just tell it not to have a stair to begin with, or a railing to begin with. You know, I can edit the path of this, right? So the path of this is just following the path of that stair. If I needed to remove the railing from the back end, it's like editing a floor sketch. I'm deleting off that railing on it. Continue. So it wants to be completed, it looks like. Yeah. Railing, let's be a single connected sketch. So it wants to be a complete item. Check. Right? So I got to make sure that I do one side, and then I have to do the other side. So it can be rather troublesome. Another thing about the stairs, so let's go into the back file. You can see all kinds. I can do a straight, I can do the switchback. I can do multiple stories with this, so I have, I'm working with just the concrete stair here. There you go, Cam. Doing it again. I think that was my copy, actually.
Yeah, no, I think every time we open the file from stuff, it is not
That's mine. Alright, so I can take this one, and if we look at the options, right, it does have, just like the walls, it has base level offsets, it has top level offsets. Now, functionality of this multi-story, so I can take that up to level 2. Multi-story must be above and top of level, so I would need multiple levels. in this case. I would go back into my elevation view of this, put in some more levels, just copy up the level, just do an array of levels, 6 of them. Oop, 6 right there. Okay, and I'll go back to my 3D ortho, select that. If I select that, I can make my I can make it multi-story. So I'll go back to my properties, come back up. Now I can tell it that how many stories do I want to go to. I want to go to level 10 with it. If I click apply, you'll see that it'll give me the multi-story. However, it doesn't ever do the final switchback on it. You always have to come in and put in your own floor at that point. Right? So just be aware of that even though it says multi-story, you're still going to need to come in, and you're still need to put the landing on one of the sides. Unless I basically do the stair as one goes this way, right, with the landing that way, and the other one goes this way with the landing, and I alternate it. If that makes sense? So this one wouldn't necessarily have the finished switchback. It would be a double fold switchback. So it's actually a good idea. I thought about that. That's actually a better way to do it.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. So what I would do, so let's create this stair, okay? So this is a type. So each one of these is a type of stair, right? This is a brick concrete stair. And that's why I say go to this file first, copy it in, because it's going to basically give you what you need. Let's do it with the concrete one. So to make a new stair, let's go to a floor plan view. And I'm going to start out down here. Let's move my elevation back. Make sure my lines are back there. And at the end will be the tutorial one. So I go to architecture, and then I'm going to go to where it says stair. And I'm going to do, now you can do a stair by component. So if we look here, adds a stair to the building model by creating common runs, landings, and support components. So in the case of the multi-story, if I needed to make a landing, I would do it stair by component. This is a new thing in 2014. It's brand new. I'm still of the old school. I do stairs by sketches. I know what I want, right? So I'm going to come in and draw my stair. Now you have a run, and you have a boundary, and you have risers. So typically, the easiest way to do the switchback, or easiest way to do the stair is I click and do one, right? Now if we look, it says it's creating 16 risers, and there's 0 remaining on that. Okay? Now what that's referring back to, so I go to the properties here, is I've already defaulted it to say, basically stairs are smart enough to know that you're going from level to level, right? So I'm going to say that I'm going to go up to level 2. It takes the distance that level 2 is, and then divides out, right? I'm going to change this to my concrete stair. And if I edit that type, it's dividing out by my maximum riser height, right? So I'm defining what my maximum riser height is here. Now, I can also go in, let's say I need something very, very obscure, right? I'm doing like a ladder for a bookshelf, one of them rolling ladders. I forget what they call them. I would need to go in and do this cryptic kind of stair calculation rule that you see on the exams that I have to understand. To me, it's still cryptic. So in all cases, I do not edit that. I just leave it as is, and then I'm changing my riser height here. So most importantly, that number of desired risers is automatically calculated by the distance between the two levels that you're constraining in between and your maximum riser height. Okay? If I need something less, right, it's going to allow me to go less with it. How are you moving there? Okay, desired number is 18. I have 3 remaining, so I'm going to go up to 18. Right. So let's just cancel out of that because I switched off boundaries. So let's enter the stair command again. Stairs. We're going to change it to our concrete stair. Okay. Desired number is 18. Again, that's calculated by our tread heights. Right, when I begin to draw, it's going to show you where the boundary is. Right, I may only do that many. right? That's gonna give me the ability to now draw in a landing for the rest of them. So it allows me to do one turn with the stair. Check. Okay. And then if I go to 3D, that's my landing. So you'll see that it automatically pumps in my railings for me. So this is something I also need to come in and say I don't want the railing in some cases for all of this. You know, it may be different. I can also go in, there's a railings example that'll allow me to load in different types of railings for this. Railing is similar to it's like a curtain wall family. It comes in pickets and panels, right? So I can do a baluster panel, I can do glass panels with it, I can do all kinds of other things. With this in particular, if I did a multi-story with something like this, right? Again, this is what's going to happen. I'm still going to need to come in and still do that piece. Right, so in this case I would either make a floor, right, or I would do another stair by component. I would do a stair by component. We can try that. I'm going to do my landing pad, and then my landing pad is going to allow me to sketch my landing pad with the boundary. Check. I have to move that and calculate that. But it's never going to be calculated, and what's nice is it'll actually take the railings with you and everything else, but it's never going to be calculated with that other stair. So what I was describing in the other multi-story, right, was taking one of these guys.
Sorry, can you show where the landing pad is again? And how that adds?
To add the landing pad,
Mhm.
we'll go over it. We'll go over the other stair by sketch. So the multi-story kind of solution, right, is to come in and bring this down to something more manageable, which is just a one-level stair. Correct. Do none with our multi-story, right? And say that, okay, I know that one goes this far. I know the other one I want to go the other way. So if I think about it, essentially what I can do is edit this sketch, and I would take my run all the way back to there, delete that off, delete that. See, this is the trick. That's the trick right there. This guy. Okay, see how I did that? So I need that little bit, and then I'm going to take this, let's go to the top portion, level 1, CO for copy. And I would need to set up, and this is where it's really kind of, if you wanted to get super advanced with it, which this is kind of going the extra mile that we don't really actually need to go, but, right, I'll do an MV for move, I'll move that guy into place, so it's aligned, right, so I have one and then the other, right. This guy needs to be situated with a half level. So you see what I'm saying is now I'm doing my half level. So then, how would we do that? So this was going to have an offset, right? So then the base offset would be, crap, I need to go in elevation. DI for dimension. So the offset would be, there it is. Let's put that one. So that would be from there to there. Should be. So that's my offset, 5'6". We'll just call it 5'6". And it should line up pretty close. You'll have to fudge it a little bit. Okay. So there's my stair. This one's going to get offset from that bottom level, 5'6" inches. There. Okay. Then this one and this one both get the multi-story up. So then they both get multi-story up to.
So is that seems to be
Yep.
a
So
better way to build the stair?
Yep.
Because you have more control over landings. Cause
Yep.
especially with floor changes, you're going to
Yeah.
need to vary that.
Exactly. So now they're intertwined, right? This is what you really want the thing to do. You know, that's what, when you go to draw it, you're like, well, that's gonna go multi-story, so it's gonna go do the spiral. That's just the only way to really do the spiral. You know, other ways to make stairs, yeah, that's pretty slick. That's a slick solution. Yeah, it's a really slick solution.
Oh, wait, what is it?
What's that?
It's-
Yeah, I might offset here, right? That little bit, those are your fudgings, right? So, are you gonna, in,
Doesn't it look like you have a lining on both, two linings?
nope. Goes one, does my switch back all the way, ah, ha ha, that's, there's an extra one on that one.
Delete
Oh,
it.
because you copied it.
Yep, so this one would go to level 10. Yep. Ah, ha ha ha.
Hold down.
Wait, that one would go.
Did you copy it and move it? Maybe you have an extra duplicate.
Yeah, I would almost have to do, there's the drawback. That's the drawback. So if I did level 10, no. Maybe level 9, let's try level 9. So it's 2. No. Yeah, I'd have to, so there it finishes itself. So you'd have to really be careful on it. So this one goes to level 11, try level 10 on that. So it's almost like you need an extra level above everything else to handle the stair correctly that way.
You'd have a 1.5
Yep.
instead of a single level.
You could do and you could do the half level too. In this case, I just offset it from the level. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, and then so that's how I would handle this guy. Now this guy is a little different, right? So that's a stair by sketch. Some other things you can do with the stair by sketch. I'm going to go to my level plan. Again, you can see you can do the spiral staircase. That's fairly simple. Stair by sketch. I'm going to do a circle. How many do I want? Check. And it's going to load those up. Now if I need something different, right, so the infamous stramp, that's a little more difficult to do. I would model it in Rhino, bring it in as an imported geometry, which we'll learn about later today. If I want some kind of monumental stair that's not up to core, what's that?
We had it inside.
Oh, the stramp stamp?
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a email that went out a while ago.
What is,
It was great.
who was the originator of that email?
I sent it out to Angela. Angela was the one who was.
Okay.
Propagating it.
Yeah.
All right, so if I want to edit the boundary of that, so I have my stair, and I need something more monumental, so it's kinked in some way, shape, or form. You know, I'm going to delete one side, do my boundary condition. So my boundary condition can be really anything I want it to be.
Hmm. You could do
Yep. So here, and I don't have to I don't have to have those follow either. If I delete that side off, copy that, and mirror it. Take space and space. These do have to be closed, so you make sure they're closed. It doesn't have to be closed on the end. The risers handle that. Check. All right, so we'll do whatever you want to a point, right? So it is really possible to do a lot. Now the stair by sketch, we're almost finished with stairs here. Now the stair by sketch is a little different because the stair by sketch is going to, or I mean the stair by component, it's something new to Revit. It's basically going to take each individualized piece, right? So I can do a multitude. So here's your standard Chicago house L winder, right? Get you by. So I can do that angled piece. I can also do those U-shaped winders, so it's actually angling that tread for me. So those are where you get the kind of custom ones. I can obviously draw in my own piece. So we see here I can change the way the stairs are coming in. In this case, I'm going to draw ovals at the end and the boundary condition. In our case, when we were doing the switchback, another solution for the other switchback, which was here, was to actually come in and do the landing component of it. So getting most of it out by stair by sketch and then doing the rest by a landing component. So I would come in, draw in my landing.
So, why do you prefer not to use the component strategy?
Most of the time we don't use them. How often do you, there's quite often you will do a monumental stair. So I would, if I'm doing a monumental stair, I'm going to use the stair by component because it's allowing me some more functionality that's not necessarily embedded in the logic of the standard stair.
Mm.
Before, the stair by component was really derived because people were taking other outside programs and bringing in the geometry and doing it. So it's kind of what that was from. So like I said, one's going to be the monumental, the other one's going to be your basic code stair, right? Stairs are fussy. I'm not gonna lie to you. So that's why start here and go from there. One last part on railings, right? So if I want to add in a railing, so let's make a ramp. So I'm gonna make a ramp. You don't have to do this. You can. My width is 3 feet. How far is it going up? I draw in my ramp. It's got 30 foot of incline. So again, that's under the type properties of it. Right? How am I inclining? How much am I inclining? What's the thickness? Yep. Right. And if I check, it's my ramp. It's going to come already with a railing. I can delete off the railing and add a new railing. So if I come in, I can do a railing by path, or I can place on a host element. Right. So if I delete it off of a stair, the stair is going to be the host element. In this case, it could be a path. So maybe I'm just walking down a path with a stair or with a piece. I can do that. Or I can pick the new host element. So let's go to 3D for this. You can see that. There's my ramp. There's my curved railing. In this case, I need the railing on the other side. I would do railing, place on host. I need to kind of grab make sure to grab the host there. Railing. It might be, let's try putting it on here. Railing, host. There we go. So the ramps looks like you may want to, on the ramp, be careful of deleting them off. I remember that being a problem. It's a start problem.
So the railing seems to be problematic because it doesn't follow the geometry.
Exactly.
So you have to change all the. Would it be better to build a railing into a single component and then multiply it?
Yep, exactly.
Sketch it.
Yep, you got it. Because if you notice, right, in a case like this where you're using it for a core, one, you're only adding the railing as an afterthought, and two, you're only really needing the railing from here to here, right, all the way up, and then around in the center. You don't need it along that back wall. So regardless, Revit's not going to do that for you out of the box, and you're going to have to fuss with it. So honestly, I would either one, draw it in and draft it in when you need the railings to show up, or two, spend a half hour and just pencil in the railings the way they're supposed to be. So, and to follow that note, if we open up the project, I also have railing examples for you. So you can these are just types that you'll copy in. Once you copy it into the stair file, it becomes a type in the project that you can select from. Let's just open up. And it really, we kind of glaze over this right now because we really haven't got into family editing. So once we get into family editing, it'll make more sense on how to begin editing all pieces within everything. Because once we get into family editing, everything works on the same principles within family editing. So here's your standard stair there, stair you would need in that situation. So, okay.
You have glass railings.
Yep. Guardrails, all that stuff. So, okay.
Are those components? Can you edit the relationships and materials and everything? Are they treated like a curtain wall? How's it?
So these are an actual baluster family, right?
Okay.
So and it's really, the baluster family is probably one of the more advanced families to work with. So So let's kind of guide you into that a little slower.
Okay.
So use something that you got here and edit it, right? So editing's the same, baluster offset, landing height adjustments, rail structure, right? Am I doing post and rails? How are those laid out?
Oh, that's-
Similar to the way, yeah, super simple. Once you get through, like I said, once you get kind of, there's a lot of redundancy with a lot of these things and how they're set up. You know, there's different options, but the way that they're edited is pretty much similar. So really just paying attention to the dialogues. Once you understand that, you can, Revit becomes super simple. So, okay. All right, lunchtime.
Yeah.